Plausible Foolishness. I am one of the two kings of the Rube Empire, where the people are free, the taxes are voluntary, and my my dryer is going off right now. So
it's a pretty little tune.
That has nothing to do with the Rube Empire. And where we serve freshly roasted liberal logic every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. right here on twitch.tv/plausiblepoolishness, YouTube, Facebook Live, soon to be Rumble, Minds, Instagram, anywhere you can get a podcast, and so on and so forth. And sadly, as we mentioned last week,
yes.
Well, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm the mad scientist Matt, the Ivory Tower, and the Philosopher King. And sadly, the Ebony Rampart, the strong one, is dead. He died.
Long live the king.
Yes. Okay, he's not dead. He's just on like a weird sabbatical where he'll only show up once a month, like a ghost or something. It'll be kind of cool.
Ray.
Anyway, but we still have the right hand of the kings.
That's right.
Dusty.
Hey, I got a Dusty. Yay!
Yeah.
We
actually have a recording of him. I have it on my phone, but I didn't play it because I need to transfer it to the computer and all that, and I completely forgot until just now. So, Dusty, and Dusty's gotten a promotion. He's right hand of the king. He's the producer.
Oh, I'm still the producer.
But now he's, we kind of made him a duke, kick-ass duke.
Hey, so I'll be showing up on camera a little bit later. Just don't worry, I'll be there. I'm just having to do a lot of stuff behind the scenes.
Because he's the producer.
Because I'm the producer.
Yes. So, it's just us white guys.
I know, right?
Our cover is blown. We have no
cis
defense
males,
against
man.
racism.
Yep, we're now racist.
We're screwed. Yeah,
we're now racist.
Big time racist.
Because we kicked out the only melanin.
Well, keep going. Don't change a thing.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Sounds good. All right.
So, since we're, well, I can't really say we've lost him because we haven't lost him. We know where he's at.
Yes. We prayed with him earlier.
Yes. And he better be on here shortly.
Yeah, he will be.
Yeah.
Sometime. And he may never say a word, and we may never see him.
If I don't get a Dusty out of him tonight, I'm going to push his buttons until I do. Or at least I'll call him and get him to do a Dusty.
There you go.
I miss those.
Anyway, so, yeah, we got a new show. Title's, it's episode 168, I believe.
Yes, it is.
This one's called, Who Is You Playin'?
Why is it called that?
Why you don't want to know.
Why in the world would you say, who's playing?
Who is you playing?
That doesn't make any sense.
Irish Creasy.
Yay!
I've seen that name before. Thanks for the follow.
That's awesome. Welcome to the Rube Empire.
Yes. You look washed out.
That's because I'm white.
Well, yeah, and that light is bouncing off the white wall, and there used to be a very dark person that sat here, so...
Yeah, well, welcome to the light skin.
We used to work together at Crew. Michael Malloy.
Wow, way to call him out.
I knew I'd seen that name somewhere. Don't mess with this. That's why they call me the Philosopher King. Anyway.
Among other things.
If you haven't noticed, I'm sick. I got a little bit of a head cold, or Tropical Storm Elsa really did nothing to Florida, and...
It really skipped over Disney, which I'm surprised, since Elsa.
Well, I mean, it's where Elsa got her fame and fortune, so...
And she decided to let it go.
Yeah. Wow, God, that hurt.
I'm sorry for the dad jokes. I'm notoriously bad at the dad jokes.
This will not be the end, just so you know.
No, it's just the beginning.
Anyway, so it might be just allergies. I can't tell. But, deal with it. My voice sounds sexy, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Get that low
Okay, so so now that we're running the show, we're going to rock some segments.
Yeah, we're going to try it.
Yeah.
See what we can do about it.
So we're going to start off with Nerd Alley.
love Nerd
Where
Alley.
we talk.
That's where I
We
live.
nerds talk pop culture. If you don't like it, just stick around. We'll get to the politics. And if you do
trust
like
me.
it, thanks. Stick around when we get to the politics.
Yep. Definitely going to be still talking about politics because, dear Lord, if we stop talking about that, I think my head might explode.
Well, yeah, you need a release, right? From all the madness. Anyway, Nerd Alley.
From something.
I thought we should start off with what are we watching right now?
Currently, I've got several shows watching. I'm a huge Marvel fan. Love the Marvel shows. Love the movies. Well, I can't say I love the shows.
You're very harsh.
I'm critical.
You're
I'm
very
critical.
I'm oddly critical. I like it. You have to reach a high threshold for me to hate it.
Mm-hmm.
But once you reach that threshold, I really hate it. And I'm not gonna watch it again. Like Titanic reached that threshold. I will never watch it again. And basically, almost any James Cameron movie that did not come prior to Titanic.
See,
ever since Titanic, I'm just like done with James Cameron.
See, I watched Titanic 4 times because 4 family members all wanted to go see it, and I went to go see it. By the second showing, I walked in just before the movie starts. I go, "Hey, everybody! Guess what? The ship sinks."
You're that person.
I'm that person.
You're the person standing out in front of the Emperor, or the Empire Strikes Back, and going, "Oh man, I can't believe that Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father."
God, no.
Only with a movie you hate, then.
Is it really that much of a spoiler to say
true.
that the Titanic sinks?
It's more of a dad joke again.
Again, it's a dad joke, and that's what I do.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. But yeah, so you're very critical. I can say that something's not good, but then I can still appreciate it as long as it doesn't pass that threshold of me hating it.
Okay.
So like I can see flaws in things, but that doesn't like for instance, Captain Marvel. It actually surprisingly didn't hit that threshold for me to hate it. So I can see that it's a decent enough. Well, no, it's not a decent movie. It's a bad movie because it's a Mary Sue from start to finish, right? But
That
I
is
still
an
somehow got
understatement.
some entertainment value, probably just because it's the Marvel universe, and I love the Marvel universe. But Marvel Comics has reached that threshold, and I hate them. I'm not interested in anything that the comics are doing anymore because they've gone so crazy.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm a big comic book collector. Love comic books. I've been collecting since I was very young. Love the stories that they tell.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always looking for that next good story. And the Marvel movies have been great about adapting the really good stories that were done in the comic books into a new medium, and it's been very fun to watch. The Iron Mans, well, except for maybe 2 was probably the low point, but still not bad. But Captain Marvel took it to a whole
it's a garbage movie.
It really
But
is.
somehow I still got enough entertainment out of it that it didn't.
Well,
Yeah,
if they
it
would have
didn't reach
gotten
that threshold.
if they would have just gotten one thing right, that would have been probably enough for me.
And that's okay. So we're straying way far away from the topic, but that's the thing is that the MCU is it's difficult to quantify why movies might not live up to what a comic book geek wants and why others do.
True.
Because ultimately this is an alternate universe where things happen differently.
And that's fine.
But
I'm
you
okay
have to
with that.
get. Yeah, exactly. How Fury got the scar was a little. Well, that whole movie involving Fury, he was emasculated at every turn.
Well, 3
He was
times they
there.
made the joke of, "Oh, how is he going to lose his eye?" Ah!
Yeah.
And then at the end,
Yeah.
a
There's
cat
that.
scratches him.
There's that, and every time he did something that was cool, spy, whatever, she just did it better and more instantaneously the next time.
Without any training or anything.
Or just because she got powers, you know. So like he does this whole rigmarole to break through a lock to get out of whatever, and then she just blasts a hole
walks through.
in the wall and walks through. You know,
Because she
And
just
it's
has to
'cause
show how
yeah,
powerful she
exactly.
is.
And so she was there. He was there to be emasculated.
Yes, and we already know how powerful Nick Fury is. He's a great character in the movies up until this point,
Yeah.
and then he just completely.
Now, granted, it's him, decades earlier. So he's not, he's not.
He hasn't
full
reached
Nick
his
Fury.
full.
Yeah, he's not full Nick Fury as we have known him, but still, whatever. Anyway,
Yes.
back to what are we watching?
Well,
Before we go on, as nerds do, mega tangents.
there's
all over the
there's
place.
always layers to discussions,
Yes.
and if you don't dice through the layers, you'll never get to the main
Yes.
point.
Exactly.
Which is why we nerds love breaking down stuff like this,
For sure.
because there's layers. So I'm currently watching Loki. I'm actually enjoying this one.
I wish that I could say that I've watched it, but I haven't, so we can't fully discuss it. But repeat your last sentence.
So Tom Hiddleston.
What did you say? You wish that you could enjoy this one?
No, I'm
Or
actually
you
enjoying
have?
this one.
Okay, you actually are enjoying.
Where
this
a lot of people are just ripping at a new one, and yet I'm enjoying it. How is this a thing? Usually I'm right there with the
with the criticisms.
zeitgeist, but no, I enjoy it. It's fun. It's a fun little show. It's a fun romp. The character building for Loki is good. Tom Hiddleston, the dude can just play that role all day long.
Yeah,
It's like
no doubt he's been great
Robert Downey
since day
Jr.
one.
playing Tony Stark.
Yep.
It's like it's written for him, and so good.
Yeah, there's been Chris Hemsworth is the perfect Thor.
Yep.
Tom Hiddleston is the perfect Loki.
And they play well together.
Yeah, Tony Stark is the perfect, Robert Downey Jr. is the perfect Tony Stark.
Yep.
Chris Evans, yeah, he was good as Captain America. I don't think you could say he was the quintessential.
Who would you think could do
I don't
it
know
better?
that there would be anybody better. I don't know. But I'm not saying I feel like he did a great job. I'm not downplaying
well,
the job that he did. I'm just saying that I think there could have been other people who could have done equally as well.
Is he the perfect Captain America? No. Is he the best one that anyone could find? Yes.
Yeah, so far, yeah. Definitely.
And I think that because, well, quite frankly, he wasn't very good, Johnny Storm.
Well, and the question about that is always was it the writing or was it the directing? Was it the acting? There's so much that goes into a movie.
No, on that one it's all three.
Maybe, I guess, I don't know. There's so much. Well, look at okay. Let's take episode 2 of the Star Wars.
Okay.
Natalie Portman is not a bad actress.
No, she's not.
By
She's
any stretch
fantastic.
of the word. She's a good actress.
Most of the people in that movie are good actors.
The performance of the romance between her and Anakin in that movie is abysmal.
I don't like sand. It gets everywhere.
Yeah, but it's not just him. It's her.
Oh yeah, it's horrible.
It's bad. But that's not. I don't think that's on her. I think that's on the writing.
No,
and
it's
the
on the directing. It was completely on the directing.
It's on both because the words were written that she friend zones him the entire time.
Well, George Lucas
brutally.
even said that he gave them specific directions to just read the lines, not emote, just read the lines, and he'll fix it in editing.
God.
Well, there's
That's
no
so stupid.
fixing.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Just
okay.
no direction.
That's
and
terrible.
he completely owns that it's not.
But I still
her,
think
it's
that
not
still
him.
think that it was written poorly too.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
Well, even back in the 70s, Harrison Ford approached George Lucas and said, "Nobody's gonna buy this garbage you're writing. I can say the words, but nobody can read this.
Mhm.
Nobody's gonna understand." And now every single line from Star Wars is just gold.
Yeah.
So
But
he
like-
thought he could transition that again and do it again. Lightning strike twice thing.
Okay. So Harrison Ford was wrong. Nothing changed from that point.
No, not really.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Harrison Ford seems to hate Star Wars,
He
and that makes me sad.
he really does not like the fact that he is part of
I
that.
don't understand that, man. Then you get like somebody like the guy who played Wesley in The Princess Bride,
Oh yes.
and he's Carrie Elwes.
Yes.
He absolutely loves that he was a part of The Princess Bride.
Yep.
And he thinks it's awesome that people still shout lines at him today. To this very day. The thing was made in the 80s.
Yeah.
And to this very day, people still shout lines at him.
As you wish.
Probably people who weren't even alive in the 80s
Oh,
or
no.
the 90s, because the movie's so darn good.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's memorable.
That's your legacy, man.
That's what you're known for.
So why would Star Wars be like that for Harrison Ford?
Yet he loves Indiana Jones. And
Interesting.
they're actually making another Indiana Jones film with him.
Did you hate Kingdom of the Crystal Skull?
I didn't hate it, but I didn't enjoy it either. It's one of those where it's like, okay, I just wasted 2 hours of my life. I could have been done doing pretty much anything else.
I mean, I didn't think it was
Boring.
gold, but I didn't hate it either. I've only seen it the one time though.
But I've never been a huge Indiana Jones fan.
Mm.
Like, I enjoy Indiana Jones.
I enjoy the Christian mysticism Indiana Jones. So
Okay.
that
makes sense.
There's a Christian, relic, then some other thing relic. So Temple of Doom, then another Christian one, the Holy Grail.
Yep.
And then we've had Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So the third one should be the Spear of Destiny, and if it isn't, I'm going to lose my mind.
See, that makes a lot of sense. But no, they did Crystal Skull, Aliens. Well, they're not going to do the third one being the Spirit of Destiny because Christianity is bad. Oh, sorry, I'm starting into politics already.
Yeah. Well, are you sure they're not doing that? I
I'm
hope
pretty
that's not
sure.
true. Man, that sucks.
But Lucasfilm has already announced that they're doing another Indiana Jones film because
And
Kathleen
Shia
Kennedy
LaBeouf
has
is not going to have
nothing
anything to do with it,
I have no idea. I hope not.
because he seems to be done with mainstream Hollywood.
He seems to be done with just about everything.
Do it. Anyway,
So getting back to what
so
I'm
you're
watching,
Loki.
I'm watching Loki. I'm actually enjoying it. I did not. How do I want to say this? Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't.
It wasn't as entertaining as I wanted it to be.
No, it wasn't. It really wasn't.
It was a little slow.
And it really.
I think they did an
I think
alright job transitioning. Basically, this was to get people accustomed to not having Captain America.
Well, I think they did a real disservice to Captain America. Why is Captain America such a great figure in the comic book and movie realm?
Go ahead, why?
He's uniquely individual and driven, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's his key characteristic.
Okay.
He's not just the fact that he's super strong, that he ages slowly, that all of this other stuff, that he is uniquely driven.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden, anybody can be Captain America. All you have to have is this little serum that anybody can be Captain America. And
Well, but wasn't that the whole point though of the series? Is that they couldn't be Captain America. The guy who tried to be Captain America, who tried to be the new Captain America, took the serum and ended up being far less of a Captain America.
yeah, because it amplified his worst traits.
Well, yeah, he wasn't.
Or
He
his
wasn't
best
the,
traits.
He wasn't the right guy.
Exactly.
So I mean, like that. I don't think they did a disservice though.
But all these other terrorists who became Captain Americas.
Well, they became super soldiers,
Yes.
not Captain Americas. See, that's the difference. A super soldier, anybody could be a super soldier. You just need super strength and powers and whatnot.
Yeah.
But there's only one Captain America, because Captain America does what's right, even when it's hard.
But they did. I will say this: they
he
got
sacrifices himself for others, etc.
They did get the story of him. I'm trying to remember the character's name. The replacement Captain America.
Oh, I know. U.S. agent.
U.S. agent. Thank you. They did get the story of U.S. agent almost exactly down to the comic book. So I have to give Marvel props for that. They did a great job with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what was the other show?
Bad Batch.
No, the other Marvel show.
Oh, WandaVision.
WandaVision.
I mean, that's been a while. We've talked about that.
We have, but going back to that is the pacing is just horrible in that.
I disagree 100%. I thought it was a great show all the way through.
They didn't release it correctly, and it ended up being a bad pacing. Overall, I enjoyed the show, but it still ended up to a big fat nothing burger at the end of it.
I don't think so.
See,
I mean, we got a Vision back. It's just different because he's.
It's not really Vision though.
But it is.
But it is Vision. It's not. Yes. Again.
Come on, hell no, to the no.
Sorry, phone fell.
Um,
It did it for me.
so all of his previous memories have been returned. He's, Roman Knightley says it felt like they were planting seeds for a season 2. Well, I think
They're more.
I don't think there's going to be a season 2. I
No.
think that this is going to bleed into the moviescape.
Yes, it's bleeding into Doctor Strange's
Supposedly
movie.
it was supposed to be a prequel to the Multiverse of Madness.
Yes. Which again.
So I guess they'll both. I mean, well, and when it comes to magic, you want to learn from a Sorcerer Supreme, and which I don't think he is yet.
Who, Sorcerer's?
Yeah, I don't
Doctor
think
Strange?
Yeah, I don't think he's the.
Yes, he
Sorcerer.
is.
No, I don't think he's the Sorcerer Supreme yet. He's definitely the Watcher over the New York.
Earthrealm
Well, the New York.
area.
Whatever
'cause
that
there's
seal
3
is. That
yeah.
seal. And but
Excuse me.
I don't think he's acquired the title per se of Sorcerer Supreme yet. Amongst his group of magicians, and plus he still has to deal with Mojo Jojo or whatever his name is.
I am Mojo Jojo.
Okay, so that's what you're watching, right?
That and Bad Batch. Love Bad Batch. It's there's been some slow episodes, but some really good meaty ones too. I'm a big Clone Wars fan, so having Bad Batch just transition in and keep going with that, love it. The last season of Clone Wars just, give me more of that. Love that. That's true Star Wars.
Ooh.
I really wish that they would give the reins over to take it away from Kathleen Kennedy, because she's horrible. Not because she's a woman, but because she's a horrible person. And has no idea, no concept of what Star Wars is.
That sounds about right.
Even though she's made it.
But to be fair,
To be fair.
to be fair,
To be fair.
to be fair, it's not like they had anything to work with. They didn't have books and stories and such to pull from to create this these sequel movies.
The nerd rage is growing. No,
She actually said that
She actually said that.
in an interview.
It disgusted me to no end. And I'm so glad she got so much flack for that statement, because the legend books that doesn't exist,
Yeah.
the mountains of comic books that don't exist, the literally gigaquads of fan fiction that's out on the internet doesn't exist. I mean, the Legends books are
Might as well not.
phenomenal. There's
Fan
so much
fiction.
story, and they've brought so much of Legends into canon. I just don't. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't get
Yeah,
it.
it's garbage. They wanted to push. They wanted to bring Star Wars into the new socialist utopia of social justice.
Mary Sue everything.
And it was a big failure. And
Yeah, because
but had they pulled from the
the Ray
the
figures are
mountains of-
selling so well.
that's what I'm saying. It was a complete failure.
Yeah.
But had they pulled, the actually interesting storylines from, from the legends and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
it would have been not social justice approved by any stretch of the word, I'm sure.
Actually, a lot of it is. It just they wouldn't pull from it because that means that they would then have to pay all those writers for all that intellectual data that they just mined.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, like Disney doesn't have that kind of money.
Oh no. Disney no. But
But whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've been talking about this for 31 minutes.
I think we can move on.
Well, I'm going to talk about what I'm watching, Dan.
Oh, you want to watch? Oh.
Yeah, it's not just your show, you Duke.
Come on, hell no, to the no. Hey.
On our show, amazingly enough.
Seriously?
Yeah, not a strike, but a copyright claim, so we can't monetize. Whatever. Anyway, like we were monetized.
That's kind of funny because
Yeah.
I'm the only one paying taxes here.
Yeah, that's true.
Come on, people, step up.
Anyway, so I've been rewatching a show. Not watching new shows. Well, I have watched one new show. It's called Truth Seekers.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Amazon Prime. It's got Nick Frost and Simon Pegg in it.
Oh,
Nick Frost is the main character. Simon Pegg is a side character
okay.
that you only see every so often, but it's pretty funny. And he's basically he works for a cable network company.
Okay.
Setting up Wi-Fi and cable access and all that.
So he's the cable guy.
He's essentially the cable guy, but he's also a paranormal detective, right?
Okay.
And so he runs a YouTube channel called Truth Seekers, and he gets paired in the first episode. He gets paired with a new guy because he's like their best installer, right?
All right.
Nick Frost is, and he gets paired with a new guy, and then suddenly from there, like real stuff starts happening. Like when they go to these places that are, even haunted as it's obviously not haunted. It's just their shtick.
Okay.
The kid finds something that is haunted, and then you're just watching the series. It's really, really good. It's not like overly scary, but it is creepy.
Mm-hmm.
It's well done creepy. And I don't like jump scares and gore and stuff. That is stupid horror to me.
Okay.
But like creepy and supernatural thriller-esque stuff, that's my bag. And then it's also the funny of Nick Frost and Simon Pegg's writing. It's really
Always
good.
gotta love that.
Yeah, it's really good. And there's only one season, and Amazon canceled it, and I'm really upset about that.
Kind of like
I
Firefly,
really
huh?
enjoyed the first season. It was really good, and it left on such a cliffhanger that you're like, I want more. Anyway, and then I'm rewatching Alias. Have you ever seen Alias?
I watched the first 3 episodes of Alias and I missed the rest of it.
Okay,
I always wanted to get into it, but
it's on Amazon Prime.
just never have.
It's on Amazon Prime. I highly recommend it, and this is my rundown of it. It's an interesting spy type thriller show. Okay, she's this like normal girl going to college, getting her master's degree, but she's also a spy for a black ops division of the CIA called SD6.
Okay.
And then her boyfriend proposes to her, and she feels like, I gotta tell him the truth about what I do. I don't work at a bank. I'm a spy. So she tells him, and then he is like having trouble dealing with it. But then he gets drunk, and he comes to terms with it, and he proceeds to call her and leave a message on her phone, outing her as a spy. And then SD6 kills him. And then she finds out that she wasn't working for the CIA at all. She was working for the very people that she thought she was fighting against.
Oh.
And so she becomes a double agent for the CIA.
Plot twist.
Yes. But there's more. Okay.
There's more?
Yes. So on top of that spy thriller thing, that's just the first episode, right? On top of that is this layer of mystic magical kind of Nostradamus stuff. In that there's this character that he's not a physical character. He's just a person that is talked about because he's ancient. A Nostradamus-like figure named Milo Rambaldi, and he was way ahead of his time. He was building things. He was designing things that, like, some of the technology that we don't even have yet today, you know?
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
But in the 1400s, right? And so he has built all these devices, and so now all these different spy agencies around the world are interested in collecting the Rambaldi artifacts. And then as you watch, it seems like the individual artifacts might come together into a larger machine that does God knows what. And so it's just so cool. Anyway, highly recommended. Alias, watch it. All right, next segment.
All right.
Dump Trump. Weekly Dump Trump. Or Trump Dump.
Trump Dump, yeah.
Not, we don't want to dump Trump. Trump is awesome.
Yeah.
Weekly Trump Dump. Today, he announced a lawsuit against Google, Twitter, and Facebook.
Yes.
And possibly others for the censorship of his and the shutting down of his
social media accounts.
His social media accounts.
Yes.
That's awesome. Go get him.
Goes right there with Steven Crowder and his lawsuit.
Yep. And Candace Owens and her lawsuit. Yep. But he's like, that's big. And his is a class action lawsuit.
Yes.
So it involves more than just him.
Yep. He's just the biggest name in the class action. It has to do with a couple hundred.
Yeah. The battery's dying.
Yeah, same here.
Did you see Fleckus was on the stage with him? Do you know who Fleckus is?
No, who's Fleckus?
He's the guy in the yellow work vest who has the spoon with the microphone attached that he always holds out to people and introduces them on the street.
Yes. And asks really dumb questions that usually are liberal. Yeah. Liberals say that he prepenses is a conservative says, or like Trump said this.
Yeah, there's
actually, no, that was like Biden or Kamala Harris or AOC.
Or, he goes to the gay pride parades and says, what do you think about all the children around here? And, it's just their honest answers because he's not, necessarily coming at them, even though he is definitely right.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't come at them as right or left. He's just getting their opinion.
Yep.
Yeah. And interesting, dude with the spoon right next to the former president on stage as he announces the class action lawsuit. Anyway, so that's a big thing he's been up to. What was the other thing that you wanted to mention?
So during the July 4th, President Biden did a July 4th YouTube video and did it live, and there were only
millions of views, right?
For the most popular president ever to be elected in the United States history, 10,000 people watched.
10,000.
10,000.
Well, that's definitely more than our channel, but...
Well, that's more than our channel, but...
but that's garbage for a sitting president, I would say.
Donald Trump was doing a rally. There were more people at the rally than watched Biden's video. That's
a good point. And then how many people watched the rally as it was streamed, too?
Hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands, okay.
Yeah.
And he was the one who lost the election, right?
Yeah, he was the one that lost the election, not the one that got the most votes in U.S. history. The most popular president.
Had Trump won, he would have gotten the most votes in U.S. history, right?
Yes, he still would have had the most votes in U.S. history.
Wow. That sounds odd.
It's a weird circumstance that I'm not quite sure why.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh, yeah. Just fun stuff on that one. It's a real head scratcher.
Yep. So that does it for the weekly Trump dump. And now we're just going to go into our regular topics. So
politics of the week.
Yep. So who is you playing? You might ask why we put that. Why don't we show them?
Do I have to?
Yeah, you do.
Seriously?
Yes.
Oh, fine. All right. seems like I really want to hit that button again. You all know which button I want to hit.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Come on, hell no.
Did I do that?
To the no, no, no. Hell to the no, hell to the no. To the no, no, no.
Yes,
For the
I'm
time
all
being,
over
but
the
we're gonna
place.
it'll be a better setup next week.
Yes, it will. Not to worry. We're a growing channel. We're making adaptations and testing stuff and working here and there. Do I really have to play this?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
They need to see the awfulness.
It's just so hard to watch.
Well, put up the articles thing first.
Oh,
Okay, now start it.
okay. Cool. I'm glad I don't have my earpiece on this one. First off, really? I know, but still. Yeah,
How pathetic is this? All right, you can cut it off.
Oh, thank you. No, I don't think I could watch that anymore. Oh.
But you must.
Ugh.
How bad was that?
That was horrible. That was hard to watch. And thank God I didn't have my earpiece in because I've already listened to that like 5 times. It's not fun.
This is the latest. I mean, they just can't stop pushing. They just can't stop pushing the vaccination garbage, you know?
Well,
they really need us to get vaccinated, don't they?
They were shooting for, what was it, 70% coverage by July 4th. They got to 67%. I mean, that right there in a free society is just insane.
But it's not enough.
No, it's not enough.
So they got to produce crap like this, which is just awful. I mean, I don't feel sorry for Juvenile and whatever his associate is there, but they do look terrible, and it's just kind of pathetic that they're there preaching for the man.
It looks thrown together, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. But either way, first of all, I mean, how out of touch. This song is like 20 years old, first off. Okay.
More than that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, whatever. That's true because it's 2021.
Yeah, it's 2021,
So
and
it's
that was
probably
released what in the 90s?
Probably it could have been early thousands, but
Was there?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I honestly don't care, but but it's just it's an old song,
Yes.
which it's not it's a bad song topic wise, wasn't poorly produced music. But even this version of it is bad because they left out the violins, which is the best part of the original song. At least in the instrumental track. Either way, and so they got a 20+ year old song pushing us. So they're totally hip and with it.
Yeah, 20 years ago.
Yeah, and
Because
and then like a music video is going to. It's people don't go to art to be propagandized. It may happen.
it does happen.
It does happen. It
Yes.
does happen. But it only happens if it's subtle enough, I think. Yes, we're going to talk about that next.
He's jumping the gun on
Yeah,
us.
they want to vax the unvaxxed door to door.
Yes.
Well, what happened, that was something that the press secretary, Jen Psaki, said, that they were going to go door to door. Right? And
Please
really,
come to my door.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know. She might have been talking out of her butt, which wouldn't be surprising because what has she done but that since she started? But,
well, we'll circle back to that.
yeah, she either circled back or she circled back or she talked out of her butt.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I'm going to circle back to that one.
Yep.
Topher, great song.
Yep,
Love that.
for sure. Anyway, so
Why didn't they hire him to do this?
I wonder.
Oh, yeah, he
he
wouldn't
would
do
never
it.
do it. Because he has, I don't know, convictions
Morals?
and morals and principles.
How
Which
dare he?
Juvenile clearly does not. He cares about.
Something tells me
He'll
that
flip out stacks of COVID-19 passports in order to rake in stacks of cash.
something tells me he's might be hurting for some money.
Yeah, he looks good in the video. Anyway, so door to door. So she said that they were going to go door to door. Then I read a little bit about the plan, and it seems like more community-based objectives.
Yeah.
Whereas before there was mass vaccination sites, so you could go, and everybody could go to this one site, like for here was like the convention center, right?
Or the airport.
Yeah, or the airport, and you could go and get a vaccination if you were,
Yep.
part of the thing. But it's more local pharmacies, local doctors.
Yep.
So now they're trying
Urgent
to get people
cares.
that you trust to convince you to get the vaccine.
Yeah.
So actually, it's a little more insidious. It's more propagandish.
Hey,
we're
let's.
gonna go to the institutions you trust and then convince them to convince you that you need it.
Yeah. Your doctor's going to come to you during your physical. Yeah, turn your head, cough, and let me stick you with this vaccine.
Yeah, and as you turn your head, you go, what was that? Oh, it's just the COVID-19 vaccine. You son of a.
I didn't want this.
Yep, and then you get thrown in jail for.
Heaven
for
forbid
assault.
that the 5% of reactions to the vaccine, which are numbering almost higher than the actual death counts. Actual death counts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the actual ones.
Yeah, not the ones that were caused by pneumonia, influenza,
Or whatever 4+ comorbidities might
Yeah.
mean.
car accidents, suicides.
It does sound like a comorbidity.
Yeah, a gunshot wound to the head. Yeah, COVID death. I don't think so.
George Floyd died of COVID. Yep.
I think you might have a few people that would object to that. Deep state, what are you talking about?
I'm bringing back the song Delta Dawn to mask up for the 4th variant. It's dropping next week. Thank you, Deep State. Thank you, Deep State. I look forward to that new music video, and the brainwashing that will occur right afterwards.
You know what? You get something. Deep state.
Anyway, so it's I don't know that they're going to be knocking on our doors, but they are going to be infiltrating our neighborhoods and infiltrating institutions that we trust,
Like schools?
like schools and doctors and local pharmacies, and trying to sway public opinion because they can't stop. I don't know why. I don't know exactly why. It's so dang important that everybody gets vaccinated.
Here's the funny thing. Prior to January, wasn't both Biden and Kamala both saying that they weren't going to take it if Donald Trump made it?
Yeah.
And then he got it made, and now they're pushing it harder
once
than
they got
anything.
him once they selected Joe Biden to be president, it didn't matter what he thought. That he made it. It was just now it was Joe's
Now I have it.
vaccine.
I must use this power.
Yes, exactly. Roman Knightley says, "Hey, get Delta Burke to sing it." Oh,
Oh,
man.
dear Lord. She's still alive?
I have no idea.
Hmm.
What was the name of the show that she was on?
I don't want to know. I really don't remember.
I can picture the living room in my head. Anyway, so yeah, that's it's disgusting to me. I can't stand all this push. Like it started with Krispy Kreme giving us free donuts. Now we got this idiot making a crappier version of his own song,
Yes.
to push vaccines. Like that was just a bad move, dude. And we're supposed to swallow this tripe and not think that there's some other agenda behind designing women.
Designing
Deep
women.
state with the Library of Congress coming through. And yes, she is singing it. Awesome.
It's such a horrible song too. Like, just to start with, his original version is not good, and then you make a worse version.
It's
of
a
it.
good rap song with a horrible message. Like,
Yes.
the talent in the song is there. The message of the song is garbage. So, you know, it's about shaking butts and how girls look good when they do it. You know, but basically, deep state,
No more butts.
Biden administration, who is you playing? We see right through this crap.
Mhm.
Who is you playing?
Propaganda.
All right. Next story. This one, you're going to love this one.
Oh.
All right. I'm just going to read the article to you.
Oh, okay.
You're going to absolutely
Am I gonna love it? Love it?
Oh, yeah.
Just
It's going to
pure-
warm the cockles of your heart. Trust me.
cockles. Last time you used that word, I did not love it. I
right.
I nearly ran out of here,
All right.
and it's a long run.
As initially reported by Not the Bee, the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus, first established in 1975, has released a new original song in which they declare they are coming for your children. It's in quotes, coming for your children. The verses in the song directly mock the fears of parents who attempt to keep their children away from media that pushes an LGBTQ agenda, claiming that families will not be able to protect their little ones from gay propaganda. You say we all lead lives you don't. This is now we're into lyrics, even though they're not quoted. It says, "You say we all lead lives you don't respect, but you're just frightened. You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked. Funny, just this once, you're correct. We'll convert your children, happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. Just like you're worried they'll change their group of friends, you won't approve of where they go at night, and you'll be disgusted when they start learning things online that you kept far from their sight. We'll convert your children, yes we will. Reaching one and all, there's really no escaping it, because even Grandma likes RuPaul. The world's getting kinder, Gen Z's gayer than Grindr. We're coming for them. We're coming for your children. The gay agenda is coming home. The gay agenda is here."
Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square.
100%. I'm not ashamed for hitting this.
Stop!
I
Don't touch me there.
song,
This is
you know
my
what?
no-no square.
It's that. Right along with Hell No.
And while the video has been receiving wide notice on social media, I wonder why, it doesn't appear to be having the impact the choir members hoped for. Huh.
Huh.
At
I wonder
present,
why.
the YouTube video has only 64 upvotes, indicating approval, and nearly 3,000 downvotes, indicating disapproval.
Eh,
Huh.
how odd.
Multiple pastors began discussing the video on Twitter, warning that it illustrates the need for churches to preach boldly against the influence of modern media. I think more than that.
I think a little bit more than that, yes.
Yeah, the influence of modern media, sure. But maybe discuss what, sin and how the LGBTQ lifestyle is sin.
Sinful.
And the gay agenda is sinful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who am I? I'm just an evil bigot. What do I know? Southern Seminary professor in ethics and public policy fellow Andrew T. Walker said of the song, "Well, remember everyone, it's the religious conservatives who spend their day plotting the next chapter of the culture war."
It's
Well
us.
said. Yes,
Us.
we're the ones who are always plotting the next thing to, the next way we're going to indoctrinate your children, when really we've always been playing defense. But actually, there are some people playing offense, and we should be, because it's a war. It's a legit war. It's not.
It is.
We don't want this to come to killing. Of course, that would be bad. That would be wrong.
I know I've already
That
talked
would be
about.
sin.
Yes.
Dare I say it?
Mm-hmm.
But it is a culture war.
Yes.
We do need to be offense. And what does offense look like? It looks like producing content, cultural content, that provides an alternative message. The traditional and the traditional message.
Mm-hmm.
And this doesn't mean you know,
That we dislike.
bashing homosexuals
No.
per se. You know,
I
Not
have
even per
nothing
se. It
against.
doesn't mean that.
I have nothing against personally people of different persuasions.
Yes, adults have freedoms in this country to do as they see fit.
Exactly. Why is it
as
so
long
wrong
as it doesn't,
for
you know,
us?
if it doesn't break my leg or, and you know, take them from my wallet, then you know,
or
then so
corrupt
be
my
it.
children?
Well, yeah, that would be breaking my leg, I'd say. You know,
I'd rather have my leg broken than my child
well, I'm saying
corrupted.
like, the break the leg is like personally affect my person. You know.
Okay.
So
An
like,
extension
if it
family.
doesn't hurt me or my family, and it doesn't steal from me,
Mm-hmm.
then you know just do what you want to do. But this
That
garbage,
almost sounds libertarian.
it's pretty libertarian, yeah.
Yeah.
It's I mean I think that's a quote from Thomas Jefferson, so, or it's it's a paraphrase of a quote from Thomas Jefferson.
It is.
So
Smart man.
yeah. But he was also a hateful bigot, so
Yes, he was.
let's throw him out with the bathwater.
Yeah, he only wrote Declaration of
No,
Independence, and
garbage. That's promotes slavery.
Bill of Rights.
Promotes slavery. 3/5 of a person, my friend.
That came later.
3/5 of a person.
That came later, and that wasn't him.
3/5.
Again,
of a
that wasn't him.
person. 3/5.
So I know I've told this story before, but we were watching cartoons on in the morning, getting kids ready for school and whatnot. It was Nickelodeon, and the worst advertisement I think I've ever seen comes on, and I actually had to turn it off, and I've actually blocked Nickelodeon, all of Nickelodeon channels, even though I love Ninja Turtles,
Mhm.
and that's on Nickelodeon. My kids love SpongeBob. God, I hate that show.
Really?
Ugh. Anyways,
But he lives in a pineapple under the sea. I mean, what's better? than that?
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yes.
Just absolutely hate the show.
Okay.
The laugh drives me nuts. That's the only part of the show that I really, really don't like is the.
Okay,
Oh,
so
ugh.
SpongeBob's laugh is so grating on you that you can't stand the rest of the show.
Yes.
Interesting.
Take it for whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had to block everything because of this one advertisement of a guy dressed in drag and singing about LGBT stuff on a kids network.
Lovely.
Why?
I don't know.
It doesn't need to be there.
No, it doesn't. But it does to them.
At the same time,
See,
that kind of even on the other side, I really wouldn't want to see
it's called grooming.
I wouldn't want to see a video of Donald Trump on a kids network.
Yeah. It's called grooming.
Isn't that what pedophiles do?
Yes.
Pedophiles we tend to think of as bad, right?
Most of us do, yes.
I
Some
know
of us-
I would.
There is a portion of our society that does not.
Maybe it's because I'm a cis male.
Maybe it's because you love Jesus.
Oh, that's right. That is right.
Maybe it's because you're just not a mentally deranged individual.
That could be too.
I mean, either way, it's yeah, this is grooming.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're singing about it openly. This is where we are now. They thought this would be a good video. That this would be,
That people
kind
would
of a
latch onto it.
Like people would latch onto it, and that would be kind of be like a gotcha moment. Like look at us, gotcha, Christians, gotcha, traditional, cisgendered whatever.
How dare you, conservatives?
And like there's nothing you can do about it. Ha 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 ha. Because
3,000 downvotes, and I'm sure there's a lot more by now.
sure, yeah, because that was just when the article was published from the Daily Wire. But they have no shame. Obviously, we know this from Pride Month.
Oh, we know this
You know.
completely.
but there's this new confidence, this new. It's not pride. It's this new it's not even bravery. It's like this.
Brazen.
Yeah, brazenness. It's this mad brazenness that that they can just make a song where the whole point of the song is that we are going to come, we're going to indoctrinate your children, we're going to turn them gay, and we're going to bring them into the fold for all of our
Enjoyment.
Gross enjoyment.
Which I'm not sure why. First off, I'm not going to expose my kids to pornography to begin with. That's just not something I'm going to do. Why? Most parents don't expose their young children to pornographic stuff. We don't talk about sex with 4-year-olds.
No,
why? They don't
'cause
understand
it's inappropriate. It does more harm than good. Do you know where the bulk of our sexual theory comes from in the realm of psychology?
I do not.
There's a book called The Marketing of Evil that I highly recommend that you look at. It's a very interesting look at various cultural topics and how they turn them around. Well, so in the psychology world, there's this one doctor who is kind of like the father of sexual theory in that realm. And he did his life's work was the study of sexuality in male and female, specifically males. Mostly.
Okay.
But it
Well,
it
what
had
about the
effects
other
for everybody.
genders?
Well, yeah.
Isn't there, what, 78,
No, we're
79
talking about sex right now, not gender.
Oh,
Gender
okay.
is whatever you want to be if you're crazy. Okay. So
Sorry.
he did specifically males. Turns out he did a lot of his research on prepubescent boys.
Okay.
Like, literally did research on them. I won't go any farther than that. Secondly, he got a lot of his info from people who were incarcerated for committing sex crimes. So, yeah. So basically, the bulk of the sexual theory in psychology that we've been basing all the psychological effects of all these things that are happening in our culture sexually, we're basing them on pedophilia, on data derived from pedophilia and from deviant criminals.
I believe this calls for... Yet again.
Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square.
But, I mean, it's true. Look it up. I don't remember the guy's name.
But I believe you.
But yeah, and it's I mean, and you can see how destructive things are.
Yes.
I mean, you just look at, what's his face? Milo Yiannopoulos.
Yes.
Notoriously gay.
Yes.
Notoriously, provocative.
Yes.
A provocateur. He just recently...
Yeah, he's come out quite strongly against conservatism. He's not conservative.
Yeah, he's actually...
He's libertarian.
Okay, yeah. But I'm saying he's more recently come out as having left the gay lifestyle. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He did an interview with somebody, with Metaxas.
Okay.
About it. And he's talked about how when he was a young boy, he was sexually assaulted and then ended up gay. And that is not an isolated incident in this in this whole, LGBTQ
Universe. Yes.
Now, it's not the only incident.
No.
I'm sure that there's people who had a perfectly fine upbringing and ended up gay, in some way. But it's always a slow process of twisting of natural attraction.
Yeah.
It just is. But we'll never find that out because all of sexual theory is based on deviant garbage.
And it's kind of like a lot of the psychology that we have known today about normal psychosis was all learned by a German scientist named Mengele, who did just absolutely outrageously disturbing tests on people to the point of death. He killed many of his subjects.
Mm-hmm.
And yet we still used all of his research.
Yep, there's that. There's just what was going on in the mental health asylums.
Yep.
All of that was just terrible, terrible, terrible stuff. And I'm not advocating for more of that at all. But like mental health in this country is so bass-ackwards, as my granny would say.
Oh, it is.
It
really is.
Bass-ackwards. So you got sexual theory based on criminal behavior. You got Mengele's work. You've got what was going on in the mental health asylum. So we shut them all down. So now there's nowhere for people with actual mental health issues to go to get off the street. So homeless problems are out the wazoo.
There was a 74%, 75% of homeless people suffer from some sort of psychosis.
Mm-hmm. We did nothing. We didn't reform the mental health the asylums that were.
No,
we just shut them down
and kicked everybody out.
How was that smart?
That wasn't smart. It just pushed the problem to another issue,
Exactly.
homelessness.
Exactly.
And we wonder why that's a big problem.
And then you got in the 60s when, homosexuality, we can have that argument about whether or not it belonged on the DSM-4. Homosexual attraction.
That's up for debate.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I think it's up for a debate. But either way, it was on the DSM-4, and it wasn't removed because scientists came up with a good reason for it, right? They weren't just like, we've been discussing this issue, and we've been and the data that we've been collecting over through all of these, peer-reviewed studies that we have, and you can look at them and you can, see why we've come to the conclusion that we've come to. We're taking it off because we don't think it's actually a mental illness. No, that's not what happened.
No.
Activists, gay agenda activists, protested outside outside where the DSM-4 is made until they got them to take it off.
Yep.
That's not science.
That's not science. That's literally mob.
So we got
mob complex.
So now we got the mob telling us what needs to be done about mental health.
Because they've always been so educated on that.
This pedophile doctor, and whatever and then just the we've got the horror memories of the insane asylum.
Yep. And don't forget Freud.
Yeah, well.
Which it's always the mother.
True.
It always comes back to the mother.
Or the son's sexual desire for his mother.
That's why it always comes back to the mother.
Yeah. It's weird. It's just...
Anyways, yeah, so there's no real tests or anything going on to say, what was it, gender dysphoria?
Yeah.
That was on there for up until, 4 years ago?
Yeah, until activists, again, got it removed.
Stuff. Yay. The suicide rate has gone down drastically since that was removed, right? Especially for LGBTQ.
Well, for the T part, no.
Yeah. No?
No, it's as bad as ever.
It's still at 44%?
It's something like that, yeah. In the 40th percentile.
I
know, the new colors for the flag really helped.
The one with the pedophile version?
Well, the brown, the like the pastel blue and the pastel pink and the white. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen that.
That's the trans flag.
Is it?
Yeah. I don't know what the colors
Interesting
represent,
colors.
and I frankly don't care.
Why do they get to hijack a rainbow?
Well,
That's
they did-
every color.
So, like, the rainbow is LGBTQ
Plus.
plus, and the rainbow can include those colors because all the colors are in the rainbow, right? But those colors are specifically the T. Right?
Okay.
Okay, so
So, if they're LGBTQ plus, what's their subscription?
let's see.
Because they must have a monthly subscription. I mean,
Yeah.
Disney Plus. Was it?
Discovery Plus.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
LGBTQ
probably. I
plus.
mean, it's your
Sorry,
whole life.
bad dad joke.
No,
Bad
no.
dad joke.
You know what the subscription cost is? It's your whole life. Because
Yeah.
after that point, once you join that community, it's your only identity.
It's the only way you're identified. Really?
Just about. I mean, you
'Cause
can be.
I wear a lot
You
of
can
hats.
be a color and that, but you're predominantly that.
That's your
Yeah.
your core.
I mean, haven't you seen it?
That kind of leads into the CRT stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, intersectionality plays a big role.
So that
Into
means
this whole
because you're
monstrous
part of that
garbage fest.
community, that's your intersectionality. That's your core group.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, yeah. How do you intersect with oppression? Yeah. We don't because we're
why?
white, we're straight, we're
Successful.
we're cisgendered, we're males. I mean, successful.
Well, yeah, we're not living out on the street, so we must
Yeah,
be
that is
successful.
true. We are some of the richest people in the world. That's true.
Yeah, because if you're making more than $10,000, by the way, you're making more money than 90% of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
It's true. But you'd have to have seen the world
To understand it, right?
to understand that.
Gotcha.
That
gotcha.
notion.
All right. Okay.
Instead, you haven't, and you trying to make up problems for yourself in this country, the greatest country that has ever existed on the face of this earth.
That allows you to be who you are, be who you want to be.
I would rephrase that because God is the one who allows you to be who you are. God gave us those rights, and
Yes.
the government is supposed to protect them.
Correct.
So, in this country that protects your freedom to be who you are
Well said.
and who you want to be.
Well said. Thank you for the correction. That was great.
Well, this goes back to the word wizardry,
Yes.
because we words are important.
Mhm.
So now I'm not a word of faith, Yahoo in Christian circles. I'm not like, name it and claim it and it'll be yours, where, you speak it out into the universe, all of the secret, and then it'll come back to you, right?
Wasn't that a book?
Yeah, it was a book called The Secret.
I think I remember reading that
Yeah. And then
way back
burning it.
when.
Heresy.
Pretty much.
Um,
It goes against everything that
So
I
I'm
believe
not-
is doctrine.
I'm not a word of faith proponent in terms of when I say that words are important. But the Bible tells us that words are important.
Yes.
Because, I mean, when it describes Jesus, the Savior of all mankind, God in the flesh, describes him as the Word.
The Word is God. The Word is with God.
Yeah, in the beginning was the Word.
Yes.
The Word was with God, and the Word was God.
And how
And
did
the
God
Word became
speak
flesh and dwelt among us,
And how did God speak us into existence?
Using words.
Using words.
Yes, he spoke
Let
things
there be
into-
light.
Yep.
And there was
Exactly.
light.
And there's
And it was
some
good.
neat myths in folklore about the words, like those are words of power.
Mhm.
The actual language that God spoke. So like have you heard of the language of the birds?
Yes. I read a manga or something like that used that.
Okay, so language of the birds is that the language of the birds is the language that God spoke when he created the universe. And so if we were to be able to speak it, we would be able to use the words of power to, create things and, like magic. There's also stories
Okay.
of so there's a pharaoh who, you know how twins will create their own language?
Yes, when they're very young.
So supposedly there was a pharaoh who isolated twins from human contact, all human contact,
Okay.
except each other, right?
All right.
And then the language that they developed was the language of the birds, and so then he was able to steal it and use magic, right? Fascinating stuff, but and that's all garbage. I don't believe that stuff.
I think they actually made a movie about that.
Oh yeah,
Baby Genius? Or Genius Babies?
I hate you.
Oh, come on. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so words are important,
Words are very important.
and the thing is, the enemy knows this.
Yes. That's why
So,
he's always
like-
trying to change the meaning of words.
They're changing the meaning of the words with postmodern, critical race theory. It's not even just critical race theory. It's just critical theory, postmodernist, Marxist, garbage.
Mhm.
It's all about controlling the words. Like, it's not just controlling the narrative, because if you can control the words, you already control the narrative, right?
Right.
So I corrected you, and that might seem to some like actually, but it's important because the way we speak about things, we've been taught to speak about our rights as given to us from the government. And it just
No, they're from God.
exactly, but it may not have been an explicit teaching. Somebody taught you that, but they say it and they say it and they say it and they say it until it just bleeds into the way we speak. And even whether or not you actively, in your principles believe it, the way you speak, is such that it sounds like you do,
It goes
and
into
you might, and a part of you might at some, subconscious level, because it's the words that you have to grasp to speak,
It goes into I saw a lawyer once talking to a classroom, and he says, the law is this: if it's not written, it's legal.
Mhm.
Until it's written, it's legal. It's not, okay, you have this right because we wrote it in this law, so you can do that, but not anything else because we didn't write about it.
Yep.
Or we didn't pass a law on it. No, it's everything that you do is, if there's not a law against it, it's legal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's God-given rights.
Yep. And that ties into, they tied it into natural rights and all that, or
Yeah.
natural law and all
Natural
that
law.
stuff. Yeah. So it's important. It's just like how having a positive mindset is way better for a person than having a negative mindset.
Correct.
The way you think about your future, about your capabilities, about yourself,
About the situations
affects
you're in.
everything in your life.
Yeah.
And so we need to take the way we talk about things seriously. So we need to accurately talk about our rights as being given to us by God, and not. And the government has no part in the giving of rights. They only
No.
have part in the protection of those rights. That's the whole reason that the founding fathers thought it was necessary to still have a government.
That's why the Constitution dictates what the government can do, not what we can do, what the government
As
can do.
Barack Obama, it's a charter of negative liberties. Basically, which is such a gross way to put it, because it makes it seem like it makes it seem, again, they're playing with words to make it look
Yes.
like a negative thing for the people, when actually it's the best thing for the people, because it doesn't. He went on to say
It restricts the
it
government,
restricts
not the people.
exactly. It doesn't say what the government. It only says what the government can't do. It doesn't say what it can do.
Correct.
But actually, it does say
What the government
what it can do, and it's very limited. And the government hasn't looked at that in, I don't know, 100 years.
At least the last 70.
Yeah. So something to chew on.
Nom, nom, nom,
Do
nom,
we have another story?
Honestly, I got off track and lost that, and was really enjoying that discussion.
for sure.
That was awesome.
Yes.
I'm still stuck on the word is God and the word was God.
Well, you know what's
Word
an
was with
interesting? Okay, so on that point, there's an interesting thing I remember from there was this evangelist named Nabil Qureshi, and he was a former Muslim, and his family were part of a sect of Islam that was more peaceful, far more peaceful than your Sunnis and your Shias and all that, and thus they were kind of looked down upon in their homeland, and they came to America. His father was he served in the Navy, and they weren't about the terrorism, and jihad meant a totally different thing, it's super interesting because if you really read the Quran, then they were wrong. His family was wrong about Islam. Islam is not about peace. I'm sorry,
No.
I hate to say that about the religion of peace, but it isn't about peace. Anyway,
Well, here's a question for you. How often in the Quran does it talk about God loving his people?
never.
What?
Yeah, it's always about judgment and
Punishment.
punishment, and basically
but-
the whole point of there's only one way to guarantee that you'll go to heaven, and that is to die committing jihad, right?
Okay.
Die killing infidels,
That doesn't sound like a very peaceful religion.
No, it doesn't. And then it, for anybody who doesn't die that way, you don't know. You never know if you're going to heaven. It's all up to the whims of Allah. And the thing is,
But
they
Christianity,
talk about the balances and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
you can devote yourself wholeheartedly, and the balances might be such that you did more good than you did bad, and still Allah has the power to say, nah, I don't like you.
so it's more of works over.
It definitely works. It
faith.
definitely works, and even then, there's no guarantee that those works will get you anywhere, because it's up to him,
But-
by his whim completely, and
So
he's pretty capricious,
this
and
is
he's like the master of lies. They literally call him the master of lies, which is why you can lie to infidels. The taqiyya, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can lie to infidels and tell them whatever they want to hear, as long as it furthers the agenda of Islam.
But that's the religion of peace.
Yes,
And
exactly.
Christianity is the religion of hatred and bigotry, right?
100%, yeah.
Even though it talks about loving and giving, and
Well, there's still judgments.
there's
okay?
still judgments, but
There's still people going to hell.
it's God loves you, and so He sacrifices for you. I don't see that in the Quran. I don't know. Maybe I skipped a couple
No,
of
you
pages.
sacrifice for Allah.
Really?
Allah does not sacrifice for you.
Allah didn't give His only begotten
No,
Son
no.
to die on the cross,
Allah can't even
go to
have a
hell,
son, I don't think.
to be
I think
resurrected,
it would be blasphemous to say that Allah could produce a child,
just so you can,
especially a human child.
just so Jesus can accept your sin, and so you can go into heaven.
Correct. Can pay the price for your sin, yeah. But we digressed from what I was going to say.
Okay.
But it was
sorry.
an important digression because Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life.
All
no
you have
man
to
comes
do,
to the Father except through him.
and all you have to do, is ask Him, pray to Him, ask Him into your heart, and you're saved.
Repent
That's
and believe.
that sounds like a really hard thing to do. Like,
Well, it gets
super
harder
duper
after
hard.
that. It
Like-
gets harder after that because then you got
What
to
do you
take
have
up
to
your
do to-
cross and follow him.
Oh wow!
But you'll want to,
Really?
yeah, because he saved your soul for eternity. Anyway,
Wow, man,
big digression.
that seems like a fair deal to me.
So Nabil Qureshi, I was listening to a series of lectures that he was giving at Biola University that are on YouTube. You can find them, and somewhere in there he mentioned something. So there's this problem in the philosophy of Islam, in that the Quran in the original tongue is like super holy, you know.
Okay.
And Allah is holy, and Allah is like untouchable. Like, so the thought of even knowing Allah is impossible. You know,
Okay.
God being with us. You know, the whole idea of Emmanuel and all that is just, it's beyond nonsense. It's just impossible, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
And so God is like totally set apart in his holiness and stuff, which we believe as well. But then he reached down to us is the deal, you know.
Yeah. He
But
sent his son.
in Islam, he's like just separate, so far separate. You know, we're you know in this garbage life, you know. And then but then there's this thing involving the word that he gave to Muhammad. Is it equivalent to God? Is it equivalent to Allah? Is it like it can't be? It has all the divine power of Allah because it is his authoritative word, right?
Yes.
But does that make it equal to God? No, because
No.
God is one
Yes.
in their religion, you know, whereas God is 3 in 1 in Christianity.
Yes.
Which amazingly, one of those 3 is called the Word.
Yes.
So the Trinity fixes that problem
Of
that
the Bible.
Islam deals with in the Quran, being equal to God but not, because God is one. It's just this like, and I'm probably butchering this whole idea to death, but it's just fascinating. The Trinity, it doesn't even fix the problem because the Trinity has and always will be, has
Yes.
been and always will be, right? But the monotheistic bastardization of the Trinity of God,
Yes.
of Yahweh, that is Allah,
Mm-hmm.
creates a problem in its oneness, and it having produced a text, a sacred text, right?
Okay.
And then this is how Satan works. Satan takes things that are true
Yes.
and makes them untrue. You know, bastardize them, distorts them, and then they're untrue, but they seem true, right?
They look true, but
they look true, but
they
at
are
their
lies.
core, they're lies. And so it's fast. Like when I've just been musing on that slightly because I can't fully remember everything that was talked about, and I had trouble finding that particular part of the lecture. But it is it's an interesting thing that the Trinity presents itself in that way, as you know, the aspect of Jesus being the Word, and thus dealing with an issue that Islam has
Mm-hmm.
already. You know, that's just fascinating stuff.
It is.
Anyway, that's why they call me the Philosopher King. I like this stuff.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, everybody. Let's get into our final thoughts here because it's coming up on about that time.
That is true.
JBN, how you doing?
Yeah, it's good to see you. So final thoughts. You have a final thought?
So, been kind of reminiscing on this. I'm really. What am I trying to say? I'm wondering when the other shoe's going to drop.
In what for what?
So we have this president who can't string 2 sentences together, who's literally failing on every level. When are they going to pull the plug on him? Because that ship has sailed. Like, I don't know how much longer he can keep this going, or how long his handlers can keep him going. Because he's always saying, well, my handlers are going to give me a hard time for this one, but yeah, I'm going to answer that question. And just,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a good question. I don't know why, but I feel like it can go on for quite some time.
Really?
And here's why. Their goal is not the betterment of the United States of America. So,
Oh, that's true.
so keeping this going does nothing but help their agenda.
Yeah, because then they'd have to put Kamala into office, and everybody
she's-
loves her.
She's infinitely more unlikable than Sleepy Joe. Sleepy Creepy Joe. Is it? I mean, he's not fit,
No,
but
he's not likable. He's more likable than she is,
yeah.
but he's still not
Like,
likable.
we don't like him because we don't like anything that he stands for.
Oh, I don't like his policies.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
It's just like
But
Obama. I
as
don't
a-
care about the guy.
as a
I don't like his
personality,
policies.
As a personality, he's at least tolerable. And in some ways,
You
you
mean
know,
he doesn't do mean tweets?
well, there's that. There's that. He's just, you know, he's just Grandpa Joe. You know?
Creepy
Yeah.
molester.
Yeah, because we see through the
Just the
veneer
molester.
and we see, you know, we see the creep
Yes.
and we see all that stuff. But just to the average person who doesn't follow this stuff and looks at the pictures of him, as he's taking pictures with the families of the new senators and whatnot, they're just like, wow, that's weird. All right, on to the next, where's my beer kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, that little girl over there on stage right. Man, she looks like a 19-year-old with those pigtails. Yeah, that was creepy as all get out.
For sure.
You guys have a lot to...
For sure.
The liberals have a lot to account for as far as that goes.
Exactly. JBN puts it right. They can then push their own agenda and he will puppet along. That's always been the plan. That's always been the plan. That's why his staff gets mad at him, because when he goes off script answering questions, it might not be what the puppet masters want him to say.
I
You
can
know?
almost guarantee that's not what they want him to say.
And some of the things, like the 19-year-old little girl in pigtails somehow.
Yeah.
How does pigtails make a little girl look 19?
Uh,
I think it was actually that she had her legs crossed and she was sitting there all primly.
I did not want to
And
go
so
into
he,
that.
like, benefit of the doubt, he was just saying she looks like she's presenting herself more adult-like than I would have expected. But he says it in the creepiest way possible. She looks like a 19-year-old little girl, gross.
Yes.
Gross.
Well,
Yeah.
the whole thing shouldn't have been said in the first place.
True.
It's one of those where, okay. Moving on.
Yeah. It's like,
That's
I want to say this, but I have filters, and I'm not gonna.
because it's
Because it serves no point.
and socially awkward.
And it might come out awkward.
It will come out awkward. I don't care how you spin it.
Well, no, you can say that like a little girl is like, she's like you've heard the saying, she's 10 going on 17, right?
No.
You've never heard that saying?
No.
Well, it's a saying.
Okay.
So basically, you're saying that this little person acts and speaks more wisely and more intelligently, or sometimes more like more defiantly than as like a teenager might, or an older child would.
Okay. All
It
right.
has nothing sexual. It's all about their demeanor and their carriage.
Okay. All right.
But and so he could have possibly been meaning that, but he did it in the absolute worst way possible, and for no reason, because it had nothing to do with what he was talking about.
I think
Yeah,
that's
the movie 13 going on 30. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
But
See,
you
I've
can,
heard
you
of
can,
that.
You can insert any age. That's the thing. Like
Okay.
my daughter is 6, but she's 6 going on 17, because she's very intelligent and she
Articulates well.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. Door to door.
Vax checkers are insane. Yeah, I mean, if that's going to happen, I'm not sure that it's actually. I mean, that was mostly from the. We talked about this earlier. That was, you can check it on YouTube. The replay of this will be live right after we are done. that mostly came from the press secretary, who, as we all know, talks out of her butt. But they are doing things
Circle
locally.
back, girl.
They are doing things locally to try and build trust in the vaccine, to just generate more trust. They're infiltrating your neighborhoods, and it may not be as insidious or as direct, as explicit as knocking on your door and say, "Are you vaccinated? You need to get the vaccine." But it may be more insidious, like, you know, you go see your doctor, and suddenly your doctor is like really pushing the vaccine on you, because he knows you're not vaccinated,
And how would
and
he know
suddenly
that?
he's been getting considerably more money from the government to push the vaccine or something like that, you know?
What, do we have like a ton of these sitting in warehouses or something?
Probably.
Oh yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Millions of vaccinations just sitting in warehouses
Mm-hmm.
because what? We're a free society and we're not going to
Well, and
push it
Pfizer
on.
and Moderna need to get their money,
They already got their money.
and they need to get their more money.
More money, more problems.
Well, I mean, they may have already gotten their money. Maybe the government already bought those.
They already
But-
did.
And
They've
so
already
then,
prepaid.
So then,
That was
so then
part
the
of
government just wants to get a return on their. I mean, they're not going to get any money from giving out free vaccines.
They're already giving out free vaccines.
Yeah, and it's going to continue to be free as far as I'm.
No, Biden already gave away 500 million doses to other countries.
Oh, okay.
So literally, we're giving it away.
I just want to know what the why.
why are
Why
they
is
pushing?
it so important?
The zombie plague. It's coming.
What's that mask that you have on? It's gone by. Oh, Deep State. Thank you. Thank you for that little bit of that little bit of folk wisdom right there. Anyway.
So, anyways, I was just curious when they're going to finally flip the switch, and
it's catchy. Come on.
I'm just wondering whether they're going to flip the switch and push him out and push her in. Because I just don't see him lasting all that much longer.
Well, yeah, that's a interesting. I mean, it's possible. It's possible, but I think he's the perfect puppet. I just think until he truly can't function anymore.
Because
in
he's
front
going to
of
give
cameras.
he's going to give us the vaccine. This is
Yeah, until he truly can't function in front of cameras. It won't be. There will be no reason to get rid of him because the trajectory is exactly where they want to go.
What's the next variant?
Well, what comes after Delta?
Echo.
Echo. So, well, is it Echo or have they been doing Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta?
Are they doing
The Greek alphabet.
Are they doing the Greek?
Well, I know the first variant was the Alpha, but Alpha is also the first of the.
Phonetic.
Yeah.
Charlie.
I don't know if there was a Charlie variant. I imagine with medical, it would be the Greek alphabet.
That would make more sense.
Yeah, alphabet. So whatever comes after Delta, Epsilon maybe. There you
Epsilon. Yep. Thank you, Deep State. Yeah. Appreciate you pitching in.
go. No, think me, the Philosopher King, who knew it off the dome, the Chrome Dome.
Yeah, that's only because they're on a delay.
There you go. All right. What's my final thought?
I don't know. What is your final thought?
It's a great question because I don't know if I have one.
Because we really went into a lot tonight.
Yeah, I kind of laid myself bare today, and that means great things for the weeks to come. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, we've got a lot more to talk
Yeah,
about.
there's always going to be stuff to do, stuff to talk about. I would say let's go back to the word discussion and
That really got in your head, didn't it?
Well, we really need to be concerned with how we speak.
Mm-hmm.
And not just about how we speak about, politics and our fellow man, but also ourselves. Let's dig into the Bible and see how God speaks about us. Then we can set everything in its right place. Compare all of our speech to the true speech that came out of Jesus' mouth and is written in his word, right?
Mm-hmm.
That way we can always be, we can always be speaking correctly about ourselves and about each other and about our rights and the nature of reality and
This
so
is
on
the
and
way.
so forth.
This is the way.
Right on. And I guess that's just, that's it.
All right. That's a good thought. I like that.
I try.
Well, your try is very good.
Well, thank you.
And it's much more than Yoda.
Thank you, good sir. All right. Well, you've been watching Plausible Foolishness, home of the Rube Empire, where the people are free. The taxes are voluntary, unless you're the Duke, and your name is Dusty. And we serve freshly roasted liberal logic every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. right here on twitch.tv/Plausible Foolishness, YouTube, Facebook Live, anywhere you can get a podcast, Minds, Instagram, and soon to be Rumble. Peace out. Perfect timing.
Good night, everybody.
Oh, you hit be right back.